Hello everyone. I decided to go ahead and do a video. Very busy road today for a Sunday. Very, very busy. And people are not following the speed limit, of course. Anyway, I came out here to the car, or the truck, because I needed to clean the truck out because Solomon and I are going to go meet my daughter and granddaughter at B&G, which is a little seasonal dairy bar in our neighborhood, our town. Pardon me. And I am drinking a soda pop because I wanted something cold, but I needed that sugar. I needed that caffeine. Coffee wasn't doing it for me because I can feel the humidity already hitting us. Got a lot going on here. I got to make sure that the little ones know how to get into their little tank bed if it starts storming, or I need to get my butt out there and start cleaning up the barn and everything. But I was going to try to make this an easier transition for my chickens because they use the duck barn, which is now going to be the goat barn again, which it was designed when I had someone come in and do the inside. It was designed to be for the goats, which when I got the 2 goats that I got years ago, they were wild and I had to send them back. And what's weird about that story is the woman that I bought the 2 nannies I have, Orchid and Lily, she also had a dealing with this person. She was buying a buck. I'm pretty sure it was probably a La Mancha buck, and they're super good goats. I mean, I love La Manchas, but apparently she had a problem with that buck and he was wild. And I guess, she had to, get the goat back to that farm, and she got her money back. I never got my money back, and I sent someone to that person for peacocks, and they mentioned my name, and I guess she mentioned that she put the goats in the freezer, or were going to, or something like that. So, be careful who you deal with. And sometimes if you talk to other people, you can get things done. You can find the proper animals for you. So I was in Tractor Supply yesterday, and I did not take Solomon with me because I was in a big hurry to get back here, get some of the products in line, because I know the baby goats were having a problem with the buckets. And so I bought feeders that would hang on the fence to make it a little easier for them, and it really has. They are starting to eat the morning glories in there, which is awesome. There's lots of morning glories for them to eat if that's what they want. I don't know if it's going to kill them or not, but they like them. Anyway, what I want to talk about is communication. Like, I would have never known that anyone else had a problem with this goat breeder until I opened my mouth. And with that came truth that it wasn't my fault. The failure wasn't mine. The failure was the breeder. And the breeder was not handling these goats the way they should be handled if they're going to be sold as pets, or even as working livestock like the buck was. So here we go with, people not doing the ethical thing. So when I'm in Tractor Supply and I see someone or a dog or whatever, I'm always talking to people. And that is the best way to communicate. Take your phones out of your face when you're in public, please, and start talking to people. I met a great couple yesterday while I was at Tractor Supply, and I told them about my livestock guardian dog, Solomon, who was not with me. But anyway, I hope that's not him barking. I don't think it is. I think it's the neighbor dog. Yeah, I think. Yep. Okay. Because I want to keep pinpointed on that. Wow, that was neat. Squirrel. So I met this couple, and they had their dog, and their dog was just entertaining me. It was an older dog, but it definitely wanted the pig's ear, and it was funny. And anyway, so we started talking, and I started talking about Solomon. He was 3 months old. Got him out of Louisville, and how good of a dog he really is. Now, I will say that Solomon at night, he and I are fighting over the coffee table. Something about that coffee table, he just absolutely wants to chew it. And I give him carrots, I give him sweet potatoes. He has leather, he has soft, he has rope. I mean, he has every kind of texture he can imagine. And he brings it all into the middle of the living room, but then he'll sit up and start chewing on my table. And he doesn't correct well with that. So I have to put on the leash and then be the bad guy, and make him lay down, which I don't want to do, but I can't have him chewing my table. So anyway, I connect the breeder and this couple because they were very interested in the pups. And I did so. And later on that evening, I got a call from the couple, the lady, the wife, and she said that they had went to Louisville and picked up their puppy, who is Solomon's litter mate. Now, I am a godmother, and she is my namesake. They named her Penelope, and they'll be calling her Penny, which is my name. And I think that is very much of an honor. And we've already talked about play dates with the two, and I think that would be great too. They can visit each other's farms. I mean, we're only one town away. I mean, like maybe 10 minutes, if that. So perfect. And so talking to people, you can connect people. But with that connection of talk, you will be criticized as either, the owner, the breeder, a caregiver, or whatever, if things aren't the way they should be. And with the goat situation, I know that I would never send anyone to that breeder again. And they're on my older videos. We named one Sigmund Freud and one Picasso. They were La Mancha dwarf pygmies blended. So they were miniature La Manchas is basically what they were. And they were adorable. I mean, beautiful little goats, beautiful little faces. And Picasso I probably could have kept, but because he did start coming around real quickly, I think. But the little La Mancha one, man, they were like having deer, and your animals should not be that way. So if you are a breeder, I always suggest having a place for your animals. When I hatched my chickens, the first year that I hatched chickens, I didn't have places for them. But a co-worker who also is a chicken person, who has beef cattle, he has a huge farm, he has the adequate spacing and chicken coops, and the mindset set to take care of chickens. Wow. That was a big dually diesel with probably a 16 to 18 foot trailer on the back of it. Maybe longer. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, I wish they would go the speed limit on this road. But anyway, so he said he wanted green egg layers. And it just so happened that having the Brahma rooster, which at that time was Odin, and my 2 blue egg layers, I can produce hens that will produce green eggs. There was no question about what would go on with the roosters because to me, he's a farmer. He can make that decision on his own. If they're adequately taken care of, I know they would not be fought. And that's basically all I needed to know. I didn't need to know the rest. So I hatched out 3 sets of chicks for him. And, I got like a couple bales of straw, and then I got a little cash. And then I think the following year, I hatched him out one more batch. But I didn't want his bloodlines. He brought me eggs, and I hatched some of his eggs too. But with the bloodlines the way they were, I didn't feel that was ethical. Okay, so that's kind of breeding back, and I really wasn't feeling ethical about that. So I didn't hatch his eggs anymore. So anyway, but I knew that every one of those chicks had a place to go. I knew that they were going to an adequate facility and a farm to produce eggs for sale. I mean, it is what it is. The roosters wasn't an issue because I didn't want the hens because I didn't have the space for them at the time. And I wasn't really ready to do chicken farming. I was still working full time. It was like I was a second shifter, so it was really hard to adapt my chickens to that. Like my older chickens, they don't have a bedtime. And it was very hard for them to understand why I was coming up, closing them up when I wasn't working anymore. And they would just look at me like, well, what the hell? You used to come in at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. What the hell? So anyway, everyone else, now everybody has a bedtime. Everybody has a place. Everybody needs to get in their places so that way there is adequate room for the goats. I thought that the cube would work, but I think it's going to not work for them. They don't like it. And we're going to have storms tonight, so I'm probably going to have to clean out the barn for them. Anyway, ethical farming or breeding or anything like that is not good. I'm seeing an issue with one of the dog's lines that the neighbor has. I don't know, maybe that is the right way it goes. I don't know. Maybe he changed it up a little bit. I don't know. I just keep an eye on them dogs, that's for sure. Ethical breeding, ethical raising of animals, ethical care of animals is very important to me. I will probably be getting more into this topic a little bit as I start putting more animals on my property. I will be making calls this week to get perimeter fence started and to get the roadway started up there on there because it's time. We need it. And I have a way that I'm going to do down here that's going to be, pretty nice, but Great Dane ready. So that area that was my garden will probably be like a sitting area. I'm going to keep like the composted area, grow a tree there, maybe something, and try to push all of the chickens back. So I think my new thing in my head is going to be pretty cool. I just have to get it on paper and then show someone and see what they think. Ooh, all the things in my head. Wow. Okay. So I'm supposed to be cleaning this truck so that Solomon and I can go meet my daughter and granddaughter for ice cream and lunch and ice cream, which I am all for right now. I am starving. But I wanted to show you something that I found on clearance yesterday at the Dollar General. These are the 33 pads. This is the ultimate regular length, whatever. They're clearanced $15.65 and then half of that. So I got 2 of them for $15.65. I didn't have the dollar coupon clipped because I want to wait for that bigger value coupon. But I really wasn't set up for clearance this week. That's it. but I did get a bunch of the chewy bones. I already took them in the house. I think I got like 6 of them. I do have to go to town with Solomon later, and he's allowed to go and get these bones if they're still there. All right, well, hugs from a distance, and we'll dive into this topic a little bit more. I just wanted to throw it out there that, you know, like having the problem with the goats and then just feeling like I was the failure, and then finding out that someone who has a lot of experience with goats on a daily basis with dairy goats, that they had a problem with a goat on that farm and had to send it back. So that made me feel very good that it wasn't me failing those little goats. And to hear that they went to the freezer just absolutely tears me up. I know it shouldn't, but it does. Because they were cute. They just weren't handled correctly. So if you're breeding animals, handle them correctly. Give them everything they need to build their future to either be happy, healthy, and so on and so forth. Bye, y'all. Hugs from a distance.